In this video, we want to prove this particular question. Prove that if epsilon is greater than 0 and a comma x is a member of real number, then absolute value of x minus a is less than epsilon if and only if x minus epsilon less than a less than x plus epsilon. Alright. The first thing I want you to understand is that this epsilon here. In mathematics, generally, epsilon is used to denote a very small minute number but greater than 0. That is, your epsilon can be 0.0012 or 0.11 or 0.0034. You see that those numbers are greater than 0, but they are very small. That is the purpose of epsilon. And most times you see your epsilon when it comes to limit, when it comes to definition of limit. If you define limit, surely your epsilon will be there. In limit, if you want to define your limit, you define it as for every epsilon greater than 0, there exists a delta also greater than what? 0. They are both used when it comes to a very small number that is greater than 0. But we are not here to do limit. So let me just come back to this particular question. Now, prove that if epsilon is greater than 0 and a comma x is a member of real number, then this exists. So they want us to prove this. If and only if this is in existence too. Alright. I'm going to start my proving from the condition given. We are given that everything here exists if and only if. There is a condition there. If and only if. And whenever it comes to if and only if, you don't need to prove conversely. Alright. So let's go back to this. If and only if x minus epsilon less than a less than s plus epsilon. Alright. So the next thing I will do is I will separate the inequality. S minus epsilon is less than a and a is less than what? S plus epsilon. Okay, from here minus epsilon less than a minus s and a minus s less than what? Epsilon. Alright, which implies that minus epsilon is less than a minus s less than what? Epsilon. Okay, according to absolute value, when you have minus a less than a less than a here, it will result to absolute value of a is less than a. I'm just using this as a case. Alright, so from here all we are going to have is absolute value of x minus a is less than what? Epsilon, because on a natural ground absolute value of a minus s less than epsilon is minus epsilon a less than absolute value of a minus s less than epsilon. So that is just the end of the proof. Thank you.